guys, it's me Elise Sulaiman. Today we are making everything that you need to know about soy. So the first recipe we're going to make today is soy milk and Tau Foo Fah. So let's get cooking. Okay guys, so let's talk about soybeans. So these are soybeans and they have not been soaked, so they are dry. So you can get this in any grocery store. Very easy to source, especially if you're in Southeast Asia or in Asian countries. But what you need to do is when you bring it back from the shop, you need to soak it overnight for at least 24 hours. And it looks small here, right? But once you soak it, it actually kind of puffs up like so. Okay, so after you've soaked it in water, just enough to cover it, in the morning just rinse it nicely, and then after that just soak it with a little bit more water. So you want to throw away the old water that you've been soaking in overnight and then replenish it with clean water. Some people like to be extra and remove the skin. By doing that, you just rub it with your hands like this and the skin will come out. So what I've done is whatever skin that's kind of floated up, I've just removed it. And if there's any dodgy looking beans, the beans that don't look so nice, you can also remove them. So see, these are the skin. Can you see the skin? So you just want to remove some of the skin if you have to. So there's actually two ways of making soy milk, right? You can actually boil the beans with the water now and then only strain it. But the other version is to avoid you burning your hands, because if you boil it, then you got to squeeze it out with when it's hot. Doesn't make any sense. Is to soak it, then blend it, then only cook it. So that's the step that we're going to do today. Get yourself a really good blender. So we're going to use my Thermomix today. So we're just going to add the beans that have been soaked overnight with the water as well, okay? And we're just going to blend everything. So fill it up. You can use any blender, any food processor, but just make sure that it's blended to a smooth pulp. And then we're just going to just blitz it up. So that's what you're looking for, something that looks a little bit like soy milk. Get yourself a big bowl, colander, put it on top, cheesecloth, or you can use kitchen towels. If you don't have cheesecloth, you can always use a kitchen towel, no problem. Okay, and then I'm just going to tapis or just strain it. Okay, pour this, and then we're going to squeeze it. So that is soy milk, guys. That is the base for tofu, for your Tau Foo Fah, all that. So we're just going to continue to do this process. And this, we don't throw away because we're going to use this for other recipes as well. So we just continue doing this until all of our mixture is all pulverized. I am going to sieve this. Just extra, just in case there's any bits that I've missed out. So you have to actually put it in a pot, bring it up to a boil to cook the rawness of that soybean. You're gonna have that raw soybean taste, which is not delicious at all. Okay, so our soy milk is so thick. I mean, look at it. It's really thick, and there's a lot of foam up there, right? So what I want to do is actually want to dilute it a little bit. So just get some water. So I'm gonna add in about maybe another liter of water. Okay, if you're a bit extra, all this pulp, you can actually soak it again and then even blend it a second time and then squeeze it more out. We're just going to bring this up to a slow simmer, okay? And you need to cook it down nice and slow, not too high heat, because you don't want the bottom of your pan to burn. So you have to continuously kind of stir it. So this is raw soy milk. Raw soy milk, you can make a multitude of things. You can make, so today we're making raw milk. We then are making Tau Foo Fah. Then we can also make biscuits with the leftover pulp. We can make tofu. We can make soy yogurt. I'm sure you can do that as well. So there's so many different things you can make from soy. Okay, so we're just going to keep stirring this until it's simmering, and we need to cook it for at least 20 minutes. So it's a little bit of a long process, but the yield is absolutely amazing. I mean, you're making everything from scratch. So as your soy milk is cooking, it's smelling really sweet. I don't know it just smells so good. You're going to have a layer of bubbles or scum, which is very normal. So what you need to do is actually remove it, okay? So just remove all of that bubbles, just so you have this really silky, smooth, luscious soy milk. Now this has been kind of like simmering for about 15 minutes. You want to continue to cook it. You can actually taste it a little bit just to make sure that there's no raw taste, like a raw bean taste. So that's very important for you to do as well. Okay, so once that's all done, I'm going to measure out about 1 liter of this hot soy milk because we're going to turn it into tofu pho. Okay, so the easiest way to do it is get a weighing scale, get a pot, turn on my weighing scale. So we want about 1 liter of our beautiful soy milk. Okay, so that is for our tofu pho. And now we also need to measure out a little bit of our soy milk for our soya milk, okay, which we're going to flavor with a little bit of ginger, some pandan, and just a pinch of salt just to bring that really deliciousness of the soya milk. Okay, I'm going to take out about 1 liter, so I'm just going to pour this. So about half of this goes into another pot. So this one has the soy milk, so let's make the soy milk first. I'm just going to put it back on my stove here. Just bring it up to a slow simmer again. And then I'm going to add in pandan, 2 slices of ginger. I'm just going to add in just a pinch of salt. Like I said, just to bring up the flavor. Some people like to add in brown sugar or white sugar just to sweeten this up. I'm just going to leave it just as it is. We're just going to let that seep, just like tea. Cover it and just let that kind of simmer for a little while. Okay, so the milk is hot. I can start smelling the ginger, so you can actually dish out the ginger at this point because you don't want it to taste too gingery. So I'm going to take that out. The soy milk is done, so we're just going to let that seep. I'm going to put this to the back. Milk earlier it's been seeping in that pandan awesomeness. And the pandan's kind of done its job. And you know the pandan's kind of like not green anymore. That's when you know like the soy milk's done. Get yourself a jug, glass preferably. And then we can just pour our beautiful soy milk right inside, like so. Okay? But you want this to cool down before you put it in the fridge. So you're just going to let that cool over here. Moving on to our tofu pho. Here I have some gelatine. About 16 grams of gelatine. I need to bloom it. So what that means is you need to add your gelatine with a little bit of water. You can use agar if you like, but with agar it's very temperamental. Sometimes if you put too much agar it becomes too hard. If you put too little agar it doesn't harden. So very temperamental. So for this recipe purposely, I'm using gelatin. Traditionally in Asian cooking to make tofu pho, they use GDL. And you can usually get it in like Asian grocers or Chinese medicine shops. Okay, gelatin goes into a bowl. How do you bloom your gelatin? You just add a little bit of water, just like a couple of tablespoons. Mix it up. So this is the 1 liter of soy milk, raw, no flavorings, nothing. So what we need to do is we need to add in our gelatin. Pour this in, and then you just want to stir it until the gelatin has completely dissolved in the milk. Same goes with the corn flour as well. You do need to add in a little bit of water, just normal cold water, because with corn flour, if you add it straight in, then it's going to have some bubbles in there. You don't want that. Mix it up like that. Cornstarch slurry, so that helps kind of thicken up your tofu pho mixture. Okay, so once like the gelatin has incorporated into the milk and you can start seeing your tofu pho become thick because of the cornstarch slurry, you can turn it off and we can put it into a bowl and let it kind of settle and harden. I would naturally usually just put it in a cool place first before I store it in the fridge, or you can actually just leave it in this pot and just cover it while it hardens. So because I'm like stirring it a lot like this, there's a lot of bubbles. So we want to get rid of that bubbles. Again, get yourself your sieve, then just remove. So get yourself a lid, cover it, and just let it like sit and chill until it kind of solidifies, and then your tofu pho is done. We obviously need to make the syrup, and today we're using jaggery, or you can use gula melaka, you can use coconut sugar, brown sugar, or you can even use just normal sugar with pandan just to kind of flavor it. I'm just gonna add maybe about half a cup with a little bit of water just to kind of dilute it, and we're just going to bring this up to a very slow simmer. If you want to know my video about jenis-jenis gula, please go to my Instagram. I share with you all the different types of sugars that we have in Malaysia. So this is one of them. Okay. So once like the sugar crystals have like diluted or like broken down, and you have this really thick like syrup, you can turn off the heat, and then you have your syrup ready for your Tau Foo Fah. Okay guys, so our soy milk is done, it's really cool, and our Tau Foo Fah, I've actually put it in a bowl for it to cool in the fridge, and it's set, so it's time to scoop and enjoy. If you guys like this recipe, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification button, and let me know what other traditional Malaysian recipes you would like to watch, and I'll be happy to make them for you. Until next time, this is me, Utilise, signing off. Mwah! I love you guys!